Hello everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays and I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we spoke about visas and flight suspensions. We talked about oil. We heard from financial experts, imports, gas, digital transformations, and the energy sector. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. We'll start us off with some good news coming out of Iraq. The Iraqi government has sent 618 billion dinars to the Kurdistans with the regional's finance distribution for salaries. And despite the turbulence in Iraq, Chella has stated that the financial situation in Iraq is stable and good. Mauser Mohammed Chella, the advisor to Prime Minister for Foreign Affairs, stated that the financial situation in Iraq is stable and good. Despite expectations of rising global oil demands, the government's 2024 budget has expenditure ceilings of around 199 trillion Iraqi dinars, with investment accounting for over 25% of the total spending cap. Oil exports are stable at a 3.4 million barrels per day and $70 per barrel. According to multiple reports, the U.S. has approved plans for strikes on facilities in Iraq and Syria following a Jordan drone attack. The U.S. has approved a series of strikes against targets. The strikes are in response to drone and rocket attacks on U.S. forces, including the recent drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin stated that the U.S. will not tolerate attacks on American troops. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin defended drone strikes that killed the 3 U.S. service personnel and wounded dozens, stating that without Iranian facilitations, they couldn't be carried out. Austin also dismissed claims that the U.S. delays in responding meant Iranian military advisors left Syria for Iran. Austin confirms 160 strikes on U.S. bases in Syria and Iraq since the Hamas attacks on Israel, describing most as ineffective. He stated that the U.S. would respond at a time and place of its choosing, citing Iranian proxy groups attacking troops before October 7th. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered a series of reprisal strikes against an Iranian-backed militia over one day. Austin stated that all drones in the region attacking the U.S. were of Iranian regions. The attacks are expected to hit militia in Syria and possibly Iraq, though Austin did not specify timing or precise locations. He stressed that the U.S. was not at war with Iran and did not know if Tehran was aware of the specific drone strikes on Sunday. Our prayers go out to those families and friends. And speaking about the military, the U.S. and the Kurdistan Regional Presidency held its first Peshmerga Executive Steering Committee meeting in Erbil, assessing progress on reforms within the Kurdistan forces. The meeting was held at the Kurdistan Regional Presidency headquarters in Erbil. The committee reviewed progress made towards Peshmerga reforms and agreed upon milestones for the next year as part of the Shared Long-Term Committee to Unify Forces under the Ministry of Peshmerga Affairs, the MOPA, and build a professional, capable force to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. The Pentagon and Peshmerga Ministry looks forward to continuing advancement of reform efforts online and in 2022 MOU. The Peshmerga, the standing military of the Kurdistan's regional in Iraq, is responsible for the region's security, as the Iraqi armed forces are forbidden to enter. Their history dates back to the 18th century when they began as a tribal pseudo military border guard. And next, the Finance Committee has proposed selling oil and other currencies in response to the U.S. sanctions. The Parliamentary Finance Committee has called for Iraqi oil to be sold in other currencies to avoid U.S. Treasury Department sanctions on Iraqi banks. The U.S. Treasury Department is imposing sanctions on Iraqi banks, citing money laundering. This would hinder the central bank's efforts to stabilize the dollar exchange rate and reducing the selling gap. The Iraqi government and the central bank should diversify their foreign currency reserves and oblige the Ministry of Oil to sell Iraqi oil in other currencies. And earlier in the week, the U.S. Treasury Department had confirmed its commitment to collaborate with the Iraqi government. The U.S. Treasury Department has confirmed its commitment to long-term joint work with the Iraqi government. Following the sighting of an Iraqi bank for financing terrorist activities, Undersecretary Brian E. Nelson visited Baghdad to discuss combating illicit financing and strengthening the Iraqi financial system. Development aims to diversify the economy by attracting domestic and international investors. The forum also discussed strategies to attract investments to Iraqi Stock Exchange, which saw a 110.4% increase in 2023. The Central Bank of Iraq's stability has attracted international investors, contributing to GDP and economic stability. And the Central Bank of Iraq plans to reinstate the financial mechanisms for Iraqi foreign trade starting March. The Central Bank of Iraq plans to restore the mechanism for financing Iraqi foreign trade starting next March. Starting March 1st, 2024 to be exact, banks must appoint an external auditor to review remittance and provide information on companies they wish to contract with. Requests to strengthen the dollar for banks with correspondent accounts with U.S. banks will be accepted at the price of $13.10. The government has made significant amendments to the 2024 budget. The Parliamentary Finance Committee has revealed government amendments to the 2024 budget, which will include increased crude oil production costs, ration card allocations, social protection coverage, and wheat and milk crop purchase. The highest budget ceiling remains 199 trillion dinars, and these amendments will be considered by the House of Representatives and approved under Parliament Dome. The changes will not affect the 78 items within the tripartite budget. And lastly, Egypt operates a trade line with Iraq and Jordan to transport goods through Europe and America. The Egyptian Ministry of Transport has launched the first phase of Arab integrated multi-modal logistic trade lines between Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq. Al Fardan Railway is being constructed to increase the volume of goods targeted from transports from the Gulf, Iraq, Jordan, and Jordan to Europe and America. The line is the fastest, least expensive, and the easiest in productions and opportunities, contributing to the links between Jordan, Iraq, and the Gulf countries. Well, I made it through it. You've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on reforms and economics of Iraq. Jeez, that was difficult. Bringing you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always see a super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar news. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith Entertainment News.